Hello, everyone.
Hello. Happy Sunday
Be-
shift.
before we hit record, I was like, Tanya, you look so pretty today. I mean, you look pretty every day, obviously, but you look so pretty
Oh,
today.
thank you.
Yeah, I
Watch.
was like, look at the hair. You got the glasses. The lips are popping.
Yes. Shout out to Oakland Roots. I don't know, you guys can't see, but
Hmm.
I'm wearing my Oakland Roots t-shirt and it has like a little pop of red in it. So I was like, I'm gonna put on some lipstick to go with the pop of red.
There you go. Well, if you can't see us or if you can, make sure you like, comment, subscribe. I didn't realize, but on Spotify, if you listen to us on Spotify, you can also leave comments. So leave us
Oh,
comments
nice.
there because we're checking those now.
Yes. We'll be checking them.
Yeah. And we'll leave a link if you want to buy us a coffee. We're always happy
Hmm.
to take that as well.
Hmm.
Tanya, how was your week?
It was pretty okay. I didn't do anything spectacular except working on campaign stuff.
Mm.
Um, I did today. So I actually, because I was a little busy, I binge watched all week's episode last night on
Oh,
Hulu.
wow.
And then when it was finished, I finished around what was it, 7 o'clock. And you know what will happen is when you're done and you've caught up, they recommend another show for you to watch them automatically.
Well,
And
what's
for me,
yours?
it was Will Trent.
They
So
do that to me too.
I started watching Will Trent, and now I'm hooked.
Oh, is it good?
It's it's catchy. It's like it draws you in. It's not like a typical story. The Will Trent as a character has a couple of issues. So
Okay.
it's like it's yeah. So I'm just curious about what will happen.
Okay.
They have the typical murder of the week or murder of the day, but there's like stuff going on with the characters, which that's what usually draws me into these like kind of murder mysteries. Like, yeah, I'm fascinated by the murder, but I'm more fascinated by the people.
Yeah.
So yeah, so there you go.
Okay. That's really good. Yeah, I'm still in Milwaukee with my mom, who is getting
Ah,
stronger every day. So all the people who reached
uh-huh.
out, definitely appreciate all of your thoughts and your well wishes to my family.
Hmm.
But yesterday it was like kind of a like crappy day. So we like stayed and watched a bunch of movies, and we have very different tastes in movies
Yeah.
because, and I wonder if it's like a lot of soap watchers. I like to watch like series. So like I love a series.
Hmm.
If I get
Yeah.
into it, there's like a few seasons. Because I like to like live in a world and get in there. And my mom hates that. She's very into like very quick movies. She
Hmm.
also loves Tyler Perry movies, and I hate them.
What movies?
Tyler Perry.
Oh, yeah. Tyler
And
Perry.
so we watched this Tyler Perry movie on Amazon Prime yesterday. Um, all I will say is Tyler Perry, you will pay for your crimes. You know what you did. It was, you know what you did, Tyler.
Okay. He's gonna pay.
You will
He's
pay.
gonna regret.
I I will say also I kind of was mad. I actually hate. I mean, I think that sometimes like not like trailers or even like synopsis will give away too much of a movie, but I also
Hmm.
think that there are things that need to like be said. So this
Right.
movie was like, oh, it's this thriller about something and cheating and da, 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 da. And then like this is not giving it away too much because this is like the beginning of the movie. It starts with like a police murder, like a
Mm.
cop killing like a black person. So I was like, wait a second, that's
Hmm.
like absolutely like no trigger warning, no nothing. And given like just in general like what we've been through, like to not have a
Hmm.
trigger warning for that, and that's not even what he will pay for. So
Mm.
anyway, pray for me, y'all, as I continue to be on this more Tyler Perry kick.
Ugh. I
We
don't
did
know.
watch. I did cleanse my palate. I finally watched The Woman King, which had been on my list for a long time. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, Viola Davis, perfection. You know what I mean?
Phenomenal.
W-
Phenomenal.
I mean, what a talent. Ugh,
Hmm.
just a goat. Um, what is a woman? Is a female goat a goat? A goatess? Don't listen to me, y'all. I'm tired. Um, Tanya, who is your performer of the week?
Ooh.
Oop, not that pause.
I'm pausing because obviously I always give to my favorite actors, right?
Hmm.
Um, I would, Ava always intrigues me. I also enjoyed scenes. I don't want to give Nancy LeGrand any notice, but I enjoyed the scenes between Rick and Alexis.
Hmm.
I liked that Rick came out as the bigger person. Um, and I think, yeah.
Yeah, I would say it was like a pretty blah week. It wasn't the worst week that we've
Yeah,
encountered. And
right.
it wasn't, there were like a lot of like very standout performances. I think last week we had a lot of standouts. This was like,
Yes.
eh, yeah,
It's just like a week. And that's
yeah.
fine. You don't have to have like dramatic best ever weeks every week. Um, that would be a lot of work.
Mm. Well,
Well, I
with
mean, yeah, you can, but
well, let's start with the kind of we talk a lot about the young adults, and I think that a lot of that for me particularly is because what had even excited me, I've been watching the show forever, and what excited me to even want to start a podcast was like Sabrina and the young adults, and like I really love
yeah.
Joss and like Trina, obviously, like um so this week I was really a little underwhelmed with the kind
Hmm.
of main story for the young adults being them being like crypt keepers. Like they're like, okay, we have to protect the Quartermaine crypt. Okay. Let's back up, talk about how we
Yeah.
got there. So Drew comes over to the Quartermaines where Stella, Tracy, and Curtis are having
Hmm.
coffee. And I will say that I did love that combo. I love a Tracy Stella moment. Um,
Hmm.
and in the kind of write up that Drew received from Curtis's paper, um, Curtis called him Drew Kane, and he was like, "Well, what am I supposed to do? There's an injunction against your name." And Drew was really upset, so he kind of went on his tantrum, and he was like, "Go tear the muzzle, go tear it down now." And so in that, this kind of crooked council person is now going to the Quartermaines to the crypt to get it bulldozed. I just I find it all in poor taste. I don't know what to say. How do you feel about the story? How do you feel about the young adults part in the story? We got Trina, filming it. We got Emma putting herself, like chaining herself to the building. We got Gio being overly involved. How do you feel?
Oh, I hear you like overly involved, right? I'm like, it's true. Like, why? Honestly, this is not something as a young person, would necessarily chain myself to
Oh,
a building for. Like,
no.
usually there are like some really existential or worldview type things that young people really just are willing to risk going to jail about. This is not one of them. Now, I can understand if she did that for the animal causes and they tried to link it to like saving egrets or whatever. I don't know. During that whole spiel, I was kind of like, her and Geo, they were trying to make an appeal to the Quartermaines, saying if you sell off another part of the beach, and that should modify, in exchange for the Coliseum, the yards that the Coliseum has, then that could solve the problem. And I was like, okay, that's a good exchange, but none of the adults listened to them. And so then that's when they came across. the bulldozers trying to take down the mausoleum. So like if Emma was like, oh, they're really trying to tear down or destroy a piece of land that the animals need,
Right,
then I can understand her doing that. But she's not doing it for that. So that's why it's like not believable to me. And like you said, being overly involved, that's just not something that most I know young people would be overly involved about.
right.
So yeah, other actually, I think they would actually be on the side of the council or whoever because it's like some rich folks trying to, you know,
Well, they
be in
live with the rich
control.
folks except for Emma.
Right,
But I do
right.
think that they tried to a while ago like tie it back to like Emma's relationship with Edward. And I think
Huh?
if that was the case, then yeah, maybe. Um
Right.
but this is just it's silly and it also I mean unlikable will be a word I say a lot this episode because I found everybody just to some people to be like so insufferable and unlikable. This
Hmm.
is not interesting for Drew. And
No.
it's, like sometimes I will get into like Facebook conversations every once in a while. And one of the things I hate is when people, usually men, tell people how they should watch the show or like, oh, you don't understand the drama, therefore, like, or it's a soap. I know it's a soap. I know what I'm watching. I've been watching this for 20 years. I get it. This is not good. Right. And
Right.
so it was like a man who was like, like y'all are mad about Drew, but this is a soap character. Y'all weren't mad about Tracy doing this and this and that. The problem with the whole thing with Drew in general is that there is no balance. There is nothing that you are going to root for Drew for, and
Hmm.
this does not make sense at all. Even when Elizabeth was talking to Tracy about it, and she even said, Monica embraced Drew. The first time Drew felt othered by Monica was when you like cheated with Willow and broke up Michael's marriage. That's the first time that Monica ever made you feel away. Even when Drew came back when Jason was presumed dead, Monica did not make him feel away. Monica has
Hmm.
always embraced Drew. She was one of the first people, even when Billy Miller was still playing Drew, to be like, okay, I don't know, but like I still love you and you're my son.
Right.
So it's not just that Drew is like trying to do this to like upend Tracy. If this was like some ritzy, like something that was like only Tracy cared about, that would be a different story. Alan is in this crypt. Edward is in this crypt. Lila is in this crypt. Like family who never did anything to you because they don't know you are there, and you're trying to displace them. That's Scout's family too, and you're trying to displace them. And because you're throwing a tantrum, it's not interesting. I don't mind an evil character. I don't mind a heel turning a character if it's explained.
Right.
Drew has no balance. It's not even when I guess Drew is like trying to like maybe help Kai play football again. Sorry, newsflash. We don't care enough about Kai for him to be a redeeming like character for Drew. We don't even know
Hmm.
Kai. We're interested in
Right.
Kai because of his relationship with Trina, not because Kai exists. And some people are not even interested in the relationship with Trina.
Right.
So Kai and like even like pushing against and going against Curtis, Trina's father, to like get to like kind of snitched to him that Curtis told him that Drew was a bad guy. It's not
That's
interesting.
not cool. Yeah.
It's not
And
good. It's not interesting. I understand how to watch a soap. Drew, this is not a traditional soap flip.
and I think, you know, it's interesting that they decided to do that because Ty and Trina's relationship isn't solid enough for him to be able to get away with that.
Yep.
So I'm like, if Trina does find out, that's definitely cause for, okay, I will see you later. Because
Right.
I actually, I warned you about him. My dad warned you about him. And yet you
Mm-hmm.
still decided to do this. That's
Right.
like, no.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, so that's crazy. Um,
Right.
Yeah, Drew's. And so speaking of that, it is very obvious what Drew's trying to do, and trying to get people to like him. He's trying to find any avenue he can to make himself seem sympathetic.
Hmm.
And other than doing his actual job of
Talk about that.
going to going to DC and
Go to work.
voting, I mean, that's the very least he could do. But instead, he wants to insert himself into the Quartermaine drama, and it
Or
was
be the
interesting. So
Quartermaine drama.
be the Quartermaine drama, and it was interesting. The new council person, he was like, "But this is your family." Like even the shady council person was like, "Dude, this is your family. What are you doing?" So yeah, it's not cool. And like I said, it's just like every single thing that they're trying, it just seems like he has to be the next person to be killed. Because just like he's making himself so unlikable.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, I do wonder if we are seeing, and we talked a little bit about this,
mhm,
that there was going to be like this team up between Nina and Portia, kind
mhm.
of, or not, yeah, Nina and Portia facilitated by Ava. I didn't understand what Nina and Portia were going to be doing together. That was
I still
confusing
don't.
to me. Um, but
I still
also,
don't.
like, I do wonder if there is some health situation with Drew, because I really do feel like the only thing that can save him is like a brain tumor, or like he is activated by the Cassidy, like something. That's the only thing, because right now this is terrible. And even
Mhm.
if you think about other affairs, like part of the like Willow and Drew are so like obnoxious about their affair. Like
Right.
they really have done everything. They're like, why are people judging me? Because you did some judge-worthy stuff. What are you talking about?
Hmm.
You unapologetically have been trashy. Your husband is laying up in a burn unit and you are going on dates and moving in with his uncle who you cheated on him with. What did you think people were gonna think? It's just there's no remorse to it. There's no even thinking through it to be smart enough to know what you should publicly be doing. Even if they were like, I make no apologies for the way we loved each other, but I feel bad about people who were hurt.
Hmm.
Now it's just that it's not even that. It's just real silliness. I think about like other affairs. I think about like the Nicholas and Courtney affair. I actually hated Courtney. Um, but and I hated that affair, but they had chemistry. That's one thing Nicholas and
Hmm.
Courtney had. And there was like remorse around it. And that was probably in my aside from like Nicholas and Liz, dang Nicholas was doing too much. But Nicholas and Liz, I feel like Nicholas and Courtney was like one of the more trifling of affairs. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? It was like, oh, this was okay. Like it was so shady because they both were cheating on partners and it was, whatever,
Right.
whatever. Um, and even that wasn't as disgusting as Willow and Drew. Also, we didn't have the same age gap because Drew could be her dad.
Yeah. So if we're, I was looking, actually, what the scene that between Nina and Willow and Drew was actually, I thought, um fascinating or intense, not intense, but
Yeah.
I enjoyed looking at how Nina was getting hit to how Drew's manipulating Willow, and
Hmm.
how she's like, this guy is literally feeding her talking points. I always think of
Right.
it like she can literally see how Drew was manipulating Willow, and but Willow couldn't see it. And then so Nina knew she needed to pivot, and she was like, "Okay, you're right. I'm sorry. You guys can make the this." It was like an epiphany. Like I can see it in her face and her
Hmm.
responses. And so actually, I thought that was actually a very good scene for the scene that's showing that Nina doing that. Cynthia Watros did, I felt, good job portraying that
Hmm.
Dawn, that
Yeah,
realization that
the
she
wheel
doesn't
turn.
yeah, the wheels turning. She doesn't have the power over her daughter that she thought she had. Drew is winning this round. I have to back off a little bit.
Hmm.
So that was interesting. That was good.
Yeah, zooming back because I know some people listen to us who don't watch the show.
All
So
right.
Nina was in Drew's house,
Mm-hmm.
like going into his safe. They have still not been clear to us what could possibly be in Drew's safe that will like turn Willow, because
When
clearly
the
Willow feels unturnable from Drew.
Yeah.
But Nina is going through his safe. When she leaves out, we find out that Drew saw her doing it, catches her. They're arguing. Willow comes in the house and is like, "What is this about?" And I
Mm-hmm.
found it, and I think the way Willow talks about it is also so bizarre because she's like, "Drew is the only person who cares about me. Nina has gone above and beyond for this girl. I don't even like Nina.
Right.
uh, like is offering to buy you a house, is like trying to do all of these things, but you keep saying that Drew is the person who's doing all this for you, when Drew is actually the person who has done nothing but agitate everyone
Mm-hmm.
around you,
And
like
it was
be
one of
purposefully
yeah.
agitating.
Yeah, it was one of those scenes where, you know, how a character says a really juicy sentence where if anyone heard it, they get hip to the secret or whatever.
Hmm.
And so Drew was like, "You just want me for yourself." That was the last thing. And then comes Willow, and apparently Willow didn't see it.
Right,
Didn't
didn't
hear
hear
it.
that. Right.
She just saw,
Right.
she was just focused on Nina being there. So I'm like, dude, I know if I'm walking, I would hear stuff. And they weren't actually whispering either.
No.
So
No.
it was just like one of those things where Willow is very close to hearing something or witnessing something, and yet she doesn't witness it. So that's what makes it so crazy. I'm like, all these little clues that are in front of your face and you're not seeing it about this man,
Hmm.
wake up. Just
Right.
like open your eyes, listen a little clearer. Maybe, like ask your mom, okay, if your mom is willing to buy you a house, is willing to and actually go and talk to Drew or talk to people, maybe if all these people are warning you against this man, maybe that should tell you something. you know, it's crazy.
It also is like fascinating. So now we have Tracy and Ned talking about it, and they're like,
Hmm.
"Oh, we're gonna expose Drew," and then they've like essentially decided they're not gonna expose Drew, but they're gonna use this Willa or like this Nina Drew secret to hold over Nina's head.
Yeah, and I don't understand that because I'm like, I don't know what they want from Nina.
Right.
Right. Like
Nina ain't
what
gonna
are they?
power.
Nina doesn't have power. Nina's not, and like keeping them from some sort of business deal. I'm like, that's why I'm like, I don't understand what that's
Hmm.
about. Like, I really wish they would have just, let it out. Somebody needs to let it out because this girl needs a clue. Willow
Hmm.
needs a big clue. She's not getting it. Um,
Yep. Annoying. So let's talk about politics in Port Charles, because we do have like a few political situations. Obviously, we have Drew
mhm.
not going to work. We have this new council person who clearly who hates Laura, and is really trying to like throw her relationship with Sunny in her face. And then we kind of
Mhm.
have Jordan being like to Isaiah, like, "Oh well, if I was the mayor, like I'm going to protect Laura, but I also wouldn't like want to have a relationship with Sunny. I'd be trying to take him down."
Right.
Jordan, you didn't take him down when you were the police commissioner. So what are we talking about?
Right.
You talk about
Just
Sonny who paid your son's way through medical school. That's Sonny you gonna take down? Okay, okay.
Jordan, like every other police commissioner, finds a way to live with Sunny. So to act like she's the disruptor is crazy. But I did think it was interesting. It's an interesting kind of twist or whatever to see some drama in politics because honestly, yeah, Laura isn't that great of a mayor. She leaves at the job every year.
She
She
leave when
just
she feel like it. Anna leave when
leaves.
she feel like it.
I'm like, none of them are actually really great at their jobs. Jordan is the only
Hmm.
one that goes into these events and she's actually concerned with constituents. That argument alone is fine. She ain't got to throw Sunny on the bus. She just has to throw Laura's schedule on.
Hmm.
Be like, this mayor is never here for y'all. She's always dealing with her family. She always has to go to the hospital. She ain't never here for y'all. I am the mayor right now.
Hmm.
So it was, yeah, she has a perfect, I do think it would be an interesting story or interesting side story, not a main story, but a side story of Laura having to run for re-election. When was the last time she ran for mayor? She's just been the mayor. Run for re-election and actually have a good contender against her.
Is
It
the
would
last
actually
time
be
she
more.
ran when baby Spencer stuffed the ballot box for her?
That was the last election, and that was years ago, right? And you know what would be believable if Ned or Tracy actually would support Jordan versus Laura. That would be even more interesting
Right.
and believable.
Hmm.
So, but yeah, I don't know why they needed a new, council person in the mix. He's a caricature bad council person. Like when was the last time you submitted your papers, your transparency financial papers? He's like, oh, that's blah blah blah, neither here nor there. I'm like,
Like, okay.
oh, or
Well,
like when you took that trip to San Diego, he's like, that was a critical error, clerical error. I'm like, okay.
okay.
Uh,
It's giving Elon Musk has given you unlimited funds.
Caricature of Elon Musk. Not even
Giving you
like
unlimited.
real Elon Musk, like a caricature of him, a cartoon character politician.
Hmm. Um, so this is where I think I was telling Taya before we logged on, or before we even push record. I think that this will be you will be surprised at a lot of my take around this. So I want to talk about Christina versus Ava. Um, it made me not like Ava. I mean, I obviously still don't like Christina.
Ooh,
Let's not get it twisted.
okay.
Um,
Right.
but so we have this week, obviously Sunny passes out, like doesn't have his meds. Christina is there. Ava doesn't know he's there. She's there. So Ava and Sunny are like yelling and saying really horrible things to each other. Both of them are giving as good as they get. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and Sonny starts yelling about Morgan and yelling about whatever, and clutches his chest. Can't get to these like magic heart pills, I guess. And Ava is like standing there, and it looked like what they were
Mm-hmm.
setting up was that we were gonna get like that old school like Tracy versus Edward, where she like withheld the pills until she got what she wanted.
Right.
But Christina busts in, sees what's happening, gives him the pills, calls Isaiah, and then boom. In this whole like kind of time, Ava is thinking like I could leverage this to get Avery back full time. I can also maybe blackmail Sunny to get money because I'm broke. Um, and we keep having these like Ava Christina interactions that end this time. This week it ends with Christina cutting brakes of Rick's car because she thought it was Ava's, and Rick and Elizabeth are now in a car crash. Whoa, that was convoluted. It was all over the place. Um, I have felt like I don't like Christina, obviously, have spoken about not liking Christina, have been annoyed with Christina. I think that there is an imbalance in the way we have, like, there's an age inappropriate imbalance in the ways that we have people like connecting with each other on this show.
Mm-hmm.
So Ava and Christina are not peers, and they should not be going back and forth. Rick is not Christina's peer and should not be going back and forth with her. And both Rick and Ava, despite what Christina has done, have taunted her in a way that didn't make sense to me. And I talked about this like weeks ago when they were like running up on her about Avery. Oh, you can't get Avery. And like, very like, well, you can't have her. Why are y'all doing this? Rick, you're a lawyer. Ava, you're Avery's mom. Take that shit to Sunny. Why are y'all talking to Christina this way? Ava, if Christina is still running up on you, you specifically, and don't get me wrong, this is not a defense of Christina. I want to be clear about that.
Mm-hmm.
You have said that she needs help. I've said before with Christina, if you really felt like Ava pushed you out the window and she was dangerous, then you shouldn't be running up on her. And
Right.
Ava, you know Christina thinks that you did this. It's not like made up. In her head, she really believes that you did this, meaning she's mentally unstable. So why are you pushing a mentally unstable person? It to me just was not a cute look on Ava and Rick's behalf to be like punching down on like a weakling like Christina. And I just felt like it was a real imbalance between like the drama of what they should be having. That so anyway, that's how I feel. I'm gonna pause there, talked a lot. Want to hear just like what your take was before hearing what I think, and then what do you think about what I said?
Okay. I am not bothered by Ava and Rick kind of punching down because I am so annoyed at Christina. And
Mm-hmm.
because I think they're the only ones that call Christina out on her shit.
Yeah.
Um, now, so I'm not necessarily bothered by it, but I hear what you're saying, and I think it's a writer's choice
Mm-hmm.
making Christina so upfront of a character and making her so belligerent. And so just she doesn't have any respect for anyone. She just says
Right.
what she says and people let her get away with it. And
Mm-hmm.
I always had a problem with Alexis being that enabler, and they still have not addressed
And
that.
Sunny.
And Sunny. And
Mm-hmm.
so Rick and Ava doing it is part one pettiness, but part two, um, just calling her out on her behavior, which is inappropriate.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so I'm not necessarily bothered about it. There was something about Ava's behavior this week that bothered me, and
Mm-hmm.
that's her need using money, or using her daughter for the money thing. Like
Mm-hmm.
saying, if Sonny dies, then her inheritance will pay my bills. Or I need this money to take care of Avery. I need this money. I'm like, first of all, I don't think Ava has ever been desperate about money. Now I can
Right.
understand the issue of changing, having to kind of make, different life choices because she doesn't have money. I can see how that would be just, concerning and hard to change.
Mm-hmm.
But when it comes to her child, I don't think it's like money over her child, right? I think she can perfectly take care of her child without the money. So linking it to Avery just seems kind of off to me, and I don't like it. Ava does a lot of stuff that I don't like, but this sounds like it's kind of like off character and just distasteful that a mom wants money for her child, and I don't like that. All you need is your child. You don't need like billions of dollars to raise your child.
Mm-hmm.
The apartment isn't like a penthouse, but still a nice apartment. So
Right.
it's like, what are you doing? You have a car, you have a job, you have a roof over your head. That's all you need.
Mm-hmm.
You don't need to be like desperate like that or making money the goal. Um, I know it's kind of hard it's just kind of gold diggerish, which I don't think Ava is. I think she's used to having money. I think she's
Yes, she
more
is.
a gold digger. I
I
think more of a
think.
power. I think it's more of a power and a status thing that she craves, but the money, I don't know. Maybe because she's always had it, she never
Mm,
needed to be that way. And
yeah.
now that she doesn't, maybe she's turning that way. I don't know. I just don't like it.
Mm-hmm.
I prefer her to, just carry her, you know, power, her class and whatever, even without the money, um, I would enjoy that. But it just, I don't like the desperation about the money. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think.
But
Oh, go
yeah,
ahead. Sorry.
yeah, that's it. That's just some of my comments.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I love Mora and I love
Yeah.
Rick Hurst as actors. I don't like
Mhm.
either. I don't like neither Ava nor Rick. Like, these are not characters that I
Yeah.
like. There
Right.
are characters that I think are extremely watchable and interesting, but they're not characters who I root for, if that makes
Right.
sense.
Right.
And I think, even with, and this is not like necessarily a dig at Cynthia in the way that's like saying that she's bad, but one of the things I enjoy about Mora's portrayal of Ava is how unapologetic she is. Like, one of
Hmm.
the things that I've always felt about Cynthia's portrayal of Nina, especially when Nina's in the midst of doing some BS, is that she
Hmm.
wants you to like her. She wants you to feel like the push and pull, the duality of this character. And so it ends up, to me, getting in the way of the things that she's doing and making her unwatchable. Because I'm like, I
Right.
am so over, like, it feels really gaslighty. It feels really like white woman tears, like, I'm gonna do this like very horrible thing, but then I'm gonna make a face, or I'm gonna do this horrible thing and I'm gonna say something horrible to you, and then I'm gonna start crying so you feel bad for me. And that's why
Hmm.
I've always had a really difficult time with Nina. And that
Hmm.
portrayal of like Cynthia really wanting you to like Nina or understand Nina has a point. Whereas to what Mora does with Ava is like she don't care if you think she got a point.
Right.
So there was no, you know what I mean? Like when she
Right.
said to Christina, "Oh, you wouldn't understand that because you're not a mother."
Right.
There was no like
Remorse.
remorse. The stuff
Right.
that she was saying to Christina, even Rick was in the back, like, "Wait a second."
Ooh.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like even Rick was like, "This is crazy," and so I do blame both Sunny and Alexis for coddling Christina. The only person who
Yeah.
ever tried to get Christina any help was Sam. Sam dies and
Mhm.
Christina gets less help.
Right.
Like, she is just out of control.
Hmm.
And the idea, nobody should actually think that Ava pushed Christina out of this window. And so
Hmm.
for Alexis and Sunny to hear her say that,
Hmm.
and not be like she needs some help, she needs to come into like actual like understanding of what actually happened. She needs to come down to reality. Because if I think you killed my baby, you pushed me out of a window and almost killed me, if I think that you killed my brother, if I think that you tried to kill my father and you're yelling at me about it, yeah, I'm
Hmm.
gonna take some drastic actions.
Right.
Like Christina's behavior follows within the delusion that she is having.
Yeah.
And Sunny and Alexis have allowed her unchecked to have this delusion and have actually coddled and supported that delusion.
Hmm.
So for me, to know that, for Rick and Ava to know that that's happening, to know that she has some mental health issues going on, clearly,
Hmm.
again, not a defense of Christina. I can't stand Christina. I haven't liked Christina since the day she was born. So let's be really clear about that. Um, Christina could have died when they, had Alexis yell Sam's baby out. Okay. Like, I
Hmm.
don't care about Christina. And watching Ava and Rick in their behavior towards her has just been a put off, has put me off.
Hmm.
Again, like I said, when Rick was like, "Oh, I don't know if you know that Avery can't go to this thing." Why? Because she still has been through something traumatic. Christina has,
Hmm. Right.
despite what she's done. I obviously have always been Team Molly on the thing. You could run the tape of how I talked about Christina.
Hmm.
There's an imbalance in this behavior. If Nina, not Nina, but if Ava was doing this to Carly, it will be what it is. That's
Hmm.
your peer. I wouldn't care. Ava doing this to Christina makes it deeply unlikable, and I think it reverts back so much of the, I don't know, like, push forward they've tried to do of this character through like the redemption with Trina. Because even with Trina, that never made any sense. Imagine how people would feel if and I loved Treva. I'm not saying that they shouldn't be in good relationship. I think that that relationship is good for Trina and Ava. But imagine if Jocelyn was to befriend somebody that Trina felt like hurt her family. Like, what would people say about that?
Right.
So for Trina to like befriend Ava and y'all to make all of these like leaps in order to make it happen, for me, I think that Ava should at least be consistent in like trying to be better. At least after Christina leaves, be like, damn, maybe I should have said all that. Or because she did
Yeah.
say again to Alexis, she needs help. So even if you're
Right.
in the moment, because Christina deserves the stuff in the moment. Christina has been
Yeah.
flagrant. I want to make
Right.
sure that nobody thinks I'm not saying that. And so for
Hmm.
Ava to like go off of her, or if like you're coming at me and like I'm going back and forth, but the like unapologetic way in the moment, that's the problem.
Hmm.
If in the
Yeah.
next scene we had Ava being like, well, damn, like I meant all of that, but I understand why I shouldn't have said it to her that way.
Right.
I would have had the satisfaction of seeing Christina get her comeuppance
Right.
and the understanding that Ava is still the balanced character that's working on herself, that's still her, but is also
Hmm.
growing, if that makes sense. So that's anyway, that's a
Yeah.
long-winded way of saying how I just feel about it. And I think part of it is just my irritation with the show in general. Um,
Hmm.
and its inability to like allow people to be within their kind of like peer groups doing things
Hmm.
that make sense for their age bracket.
Hmm.
Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah.
um and that goes across to even this. So
Hmm.
um what did you think about the what do you think about the Rick and Elizabeth thing? So Ava goes off on Rick because Elizabeth is like inserting herself in the Portia stuff and making Rick feel like it's because she cares about Portia, when really we know that she cares about the hospital, and she's trying to get to the bottom of like what Portia may have done. And Ava really let Rick have it about Liz. How'd you feel about that?
I thought that was all entertaining and I enjoyed it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So, to your point, that's who Ava should be having these little conversations with. People
Mm-hmm.
like Elizabeth, her, those are in her peer group. And so I enjoyed it. You know what? Because I think Elizabeth senses that Ava is a little bit perturbed by her. She was just like, "Oh, it looks like I'm interrupting something. Okay, I'm going to go." It's like, like she's not buying into it, but she's almost buying into it, like playing each other off each other. I enjoyed it. Those were great scenes,
Mm-hmm.
actually. That was really funny. Um, but but Ava was totally right. Elizabeth was using, and Rick was just like,
Mm-hmm.
"No, Elizabeth's not that way." Like, yeah, she is. Elizabeth ain't perfect. And so, yeah, and I enjoyed it because almost because like Ava and Carly also have like a rival, and Carly did not like Elizabeth because how she was messing with her dudes. But yeah, so I thought it was
Mm-hmm.
great. I liked those scenes. I thought they were fun. And
Mm-hmm.
kind of like tongue in cheek, lighthearted or whatever. And
Mm-hmm.
it was great. And it makes Rick and Ava's relationship also not boring, is that like they're not necessarily, they're attracted to one another, but it's not like a common romance relationship, and they're not 100% happy, and they're not, all lovey-dovey or anything.
Mm-hmm.
They have their spats, they disagree on some things, and so I enjoy it. Yeah, I like
It
that.
is slightly embarrassing for Ava though, because you have Rick
Yeah.
who like clearly is in love with Elizabeth and like kind of playing Ava to the side for her. I'm like, what is
Right.
going on?
Yeah. So.
Um, so we'll see what happens. So obviously we end Friday with a crash. Um, Christina cut the brakes of Rick's car, thinking it was Ava's, but she did, and she let Lucky know that something happened, but he doesn't know what happened. Um, and then she goes to like try to stop whatever it is. She's calling Ava. Ava's not answering, which makes sense because Christina, you and Ava do not get along. I'm like Ava should have been got a restraining order against Christina. Leave me
Right.
alone. Don't come to my house. Don't talk to me. Don't
Yeah.
confront me. Leave
Ex-
me alone. Um,
exactly.
but yeah. So anyway, um, yeah, we'll see what happens with Rick because it does like the
Hmm.
pictures for next week looks like Rick has a bloody head and Lucky is like
Right.
screaming for Liz. So
Oh, I
we
didn't
shall
see
see.
those.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we shall see. Let's talk about this is another. Let's talk about Sunny and Jason. All of Sunny and Jason. I want to start with Jason and Carly.
Yeah.
So Jason goes to see Carly, and she's on "But Daddy, I Love Him" Part Two, and he tells her to like stop dealing with Brennan altogether. And she's like, no. And Jason, very menacingly, I was like, Steve Burton, what is going on? Was like, it, do it to save his life. Because if something happens to you, the same way you die will be the same way he dies.
He's like, I will literally kill. Actually, and that's a oversight on my part because those Jason and Carly scenes were hecka intense, and I was just like, ooh. I was
Mm-hmm.
oh my God, Jason was kind of hot there. It was like all
Mm-hmm.
threatening and everything, very intense. It was just like, you know, I'm going to kill him. And Carly was like, he means business. He is not playing. And I was like, yeah. So those were very intense scenes, or very good scenes between Laura Wright and Steve Burton. Um, and but yeah, it's just like all along the same theme. Almost literally, Daddy, I love him because she's like her daddy all the time. And she was like being very stubborn about it and very Carly about it. It was like, this is my decision. And, so he had to use the only method that will get through to her. Like, I am a assassin and I'm good at what I do. And if something happens to you, I will kill him. And so that was the only thing that really kind of stuck with her. But she's still being stubborn, Carly. And she fell for Brennan's lines. So we'll see
And
how that goes.
I do think that my annoyance with this story is what
Hmm.
fed into how I felt about the Christina Ava situation.
Right,
Because so then you have Carly going like leaving the hospital before medical advice.
right.
Me and all I could think when Jason and Carly were having this conversation and when Carly was pushing back is Jason gave up how many years of his life to save
For her.
yours for
Right.
you. And I was surprised he didn't throw that in her face.
Yeah.
But he gave up all these years for you to be like, no, this is my little boyfriend. I like him. It don't matter what you say. Don't matter if I put my kids in danger. Don't matter if Michael just blew up. There's just like, I actually don't. I think this is typical Carly, but it's like the growth in Carly that we've seen over the years. And this is like,
Hmm.
this is a story for Jocelyn.
Hmm.
This is not a story for somebody. This is not a story for Carly. It's just not. She's talking about like what Sam was doing. Sam made a decision once Sam became grown and almost lost her child to not be with Jason actually.
Hmm.
This the decisions you're talking about that Sam made was when Sam was in her 20s.
Right.
Not the decisions that not what you should be doing right now. And so I was mad that she brought up Sam in the first place. But then she like people are like telling her, and she like has like a fit with Liz. I don't want to hear Liz like I was just gonna pop your picture collar.
I thought those scenes were good too.
And
For the
I
most part.
was I was shocked and appalled that she went and told Brennan what Jason said.
Hmm. That's lack of
I'm
loyalty right there.
I'm like, I'm supposed to believe that Carly, ride or die Carly, went and told Brennan what Jason said because she got a little crush on him? Girl, absolutely not.
Hmm.
it's just like the
Ugh,
immaturity of the situation is such a
right.
put off for me. Like, what are we doing? And I guess obviously we'll like see Carly get upset, hopefully, when she finds out about Brennan and Jocelyn and
Mm-hmm.
like him having her in the WSB. But
Mm-hmm.
mm, um, and
And
so
also,
oh,
I'll also feel some kind of way about, I don't know, Joss, kind of throwing her mom and her family on the wayside for a job. That was
a job that doesn't even make sense.
right. She's just like, as soon as she knew that Brennan was manipulating her mom, I would have thought like, yeah, no, dude, no, this is not happening. I don't, there's no job in the world that would make
Hmm.
me, cross loyalties with my family over. Especially a job where you don't even know if you're really getting paid. There's no pay.
Well,
I'm
she's an
like,
heiress, so she doesn't need to get
she's
paid.
an heiress, so she don't need to get paid. She getting beaten up for no reason. Uh, it makes no sense. Um,
It
yeah.
also was that Dex was supposed to be the catalyst for her doing
Right.
this. But they have been clear to her that this job is not actually about being like a good guy and saving anyone. Like they, so even that motivation of Dex does not make sense.
Right.
It does not make sense as to why that we've never seen Jocelyn care about being a spy. This has never been a situation that like this is they do not know what to do with Jocelyn and they're giving her a story that they think is interesting and it's not working out to be very interesting. The thing that made for me that made Jocelyn work in a way that Michael didn't work is that Jocelyn always had a peer group. Jocelyn
Hmm.
always had a group of friends that she was a part of, where Michael didn't. And now, despite the fact that the peer group is doing foolishness as crypt keeping, but Jocelyn is so separate from her group of friends. And I always would defend her because people would say like, "Oh, she's not being forthcoming with Trina. She's lying to Trina," and I'm like, "Well, she's doing it because Trina is not a part of the mob world, and
Right.
so she's protecting her." So now we have her doing even more lying, even more separating herself for her now to have to for her having to do this to be a spy. So in long term, it actually separates her out more from her peer group,
Hmm.
and all for what? And if this Vaughn guy is supposed to be her love interest, it's first of all, I don't like him, and second of all, he's again too old for her. If you're gonna stick these kids in college forever, then she shouldn't be dating a 30-year-old.
Right.
So Sunny, they get a lead from Valentine. Obviously, they're gonna follow the lead to go find out like who ordered the hit on Sunny that burnt up Michael. Sunny decides that even though he just had his heart like situation, and Isaiah wants him to go get surgery now, that he's gonna go because it might be good for his heart to go do this.
So
So,
first thought, again, very poignant scenes between Sunny and Jeannie Francis. All of this is coming back to me now. Even the beginning of the show, I was just like, I don't know who overdo it. And now I'm remembering there were some really good scenes. Um, but second of all, Sunny was talking about how he's having a hard time controlling his anger, and that was one of the things that stood out to me in his conversations with Jason. I'm like, why are you guys yelling at each other? It's just like none of that seems like I'm trying to stay calm and stress free. Yelling and having these screaming matches are it's stressful to me. I don't know. It's not a
mm-hmm,
calming situation. So neither of them are behaving in a way that's like trying to create calm. Jason yelling at him yelling back. Y'all needed to calm that down, first of all. Second thing, why are they catching this assassin in Maxie's old apartment? That was just like, it's totally
also,
obvious.
the apartment where Emma got, or not Emma, but Charlotte got
Oh my
shot.
God. shot. I'm like, that's y'all. That was so obvious. That was a just that was it was just crazy. I just kept thinking about it. I was like, why are they just in Mexico? Are you supposed to be
Hmm.
where in Denver or I don't even know where they were supposed to be, but they needed a whole other different stage for that. Um, but
Well, what
yeah,
did
none
you?
of what did
Oh,
I think of?
them
What was it?
lingering on the picture of Michael and Morgan before Jason and Sunny leave.
If people hadn't said, why is Morgan in this picture and all the other stuff, I wouldn't have thought anything of it. But because I had seen all these comments like, oh, are they bringing Morgan back? Why are they showing a picture of Morgan? That's what I was just like, interesting. But if nobody had said anything, I wouldn't have thought anything of it.
Mm-hmm.
I would have focused just on Michael and let it be at that. Um, but yeah, it's intriguing. If Morgan comes back, I don't know how they would do it because Morgan is really supposed to be dead since that last hallucination at Sunny on the rooftop.
Well, yeah, but it was a hallucination, not a ghost. So,
Yeah,
you
it
know.
was a ghost. Yeah,
Or no,
so
no, it was a hallucination, not a ghost.
yeah,
Yeah.
so that's true.
Uh, the other thing is, I just feel like Sonny is putting himself and Jason in danger by going.
Hmm.
That was such a silly argument. And Sonny, the last time that you and Jason went on a mission like this, you ended up presumed dead. So, why don't you have a
Ooh,
seat? Why don't you
yeah.
have a seat, sir? I
And
will
then
say,
I also think that, just threatening him with a gun is not going to get you the answers you need. I was thinking the whole time, I was like, oh, they need to do like um a James Pond type torture to get the answers out of him, like start cutting off fingers and stuff. But I was like,
okay,
then I would have
Huck,
been appalled. I would have been appalled that Sonny and Jason had did that. But the part of me that's really into these kind of spy gangster type movies, I'm like, yeah, that method's not going to work because he's just going to end up dead, and you're not going to get the answers you need. You need to torture him. That's how you get the
they
answer.
they did another meat hook.
Yeah, you know, me hook. And I would have been appalled, like, Sonny, that's not you. But
It definitely is
anyway,
funny.
it is Sunny apparently.
um, yeah. Um, so also what I really enjoyed was that while Stephen A. Smith was getting dragged up and down the internet by LeBron,
And
Brick
everybody.
Brick was on the show getting embarrassed by showing up to Jordan's house while Isaiah was there. They were clearly on a date. Brick shows up to Jordan's house with flowers. He is salty about Isaiah, and he says like something about how he looked into Isaiah's family. Now we have spoken
Mhm.
about how Isaiah's last name is Gannon, so I
Mhm.
do wonder. I mean, and we know how much Ron loves One Life to Live. Not Ron, Frank loves One Life to
Frank.
Live. So I do wonder if we're going to see if Isaiah is part of that Gannon family, which it
Mhm.
would be surprising that we hadn't heard him say this before because Landview is very close. And if we're going to end up with some kind of rewrite that gets us RJ on screen,
Yeah, that would be interesting. Because I didn't even think about RJ. I was just like thinking about Nora and whatever. Um,
right?
but I forgot that RJ was an element of that show, and he has some um negative ties. So that's interesting. And it was
Mm-hmm.
interesting that Jordan was like, so what about the family? And she immediately dropped it. She was like, ma'am, you need to push a little bit further. He did not answer your question.
Jordan's like, this man is fine. I'm not going to be asking about these questions right now.
Right. I was like, girl, stand back, stand back. Don't let him huddle and cuddle you out of
I get you, sister. I get it.
the
Um,
answer.
LNL2 had cute moments. I'm not really clear as to why Lulu was like coming down and trying to talk bad about LNL2 to Lucky. I will say that for me, um, if I were more of an Elizabeth fan, which I'm not, um, I would feel like Lucky needed to do a little bit more to like earn her back after all this time he's been gone. But because I'm not an Elizabeth fan, I don't really care too much about that. But I do understand people who are fans of her who feel
Mhm.
like Lucky doesn't deserve her right now. Again, that's not me. I'm very happy where we are. And I was mad at
Yeah,
Lulu for trying to talk it down. I'm like, girl, just because you can't get Dante, don't mean.
right. I'm actually feeling like both Elizabeth and Lucky have done bad things to each other. So no, I'm not feeling like Lucky himself owes something to Elizabeth because I don't think that's the case. I think he had every reason not to want to be involved with Elizabeth as a romantic partner. Not necessarily be away from his kids, but he has
Mm-hmm.
every reason to not want to be in a relationship with Liz just as much, as she might. So if they are at a point where they're just willing to let bygones be bygones and mutually, then I'm okay with that. That's fine. But if they
Mm-hmm.
also have that conversation of we've done some really horrible things to each other. Let's talk about it. I'm okay with that too. I just like their
Mm-hmm.
scenes together. I love the recap of the New York trip. I wasn't actually watching the show at that time, but
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was cute. Now, did it really depict New York to me? No, but I mean, like the little hopscotch thing, like where's that at?
Mm-hmm.
But I thought it was cute. I thought that the scenes together were really great and it was really romantic. And so,
Mm-hmm.
yes, I'm still LNL to shipping and I'm enjoying it. And yes, I agree. I was like, Lulu had her haterade on simply because she can't do that with Dante. And so
Mm-hmm.
don't put your little, your situation onto Lucky. Let that man be happy.
Yep. Yep.
Yep.
And so finally, last thing I have on my list. So sorry if other things happened. I did not rewatch the show this week.
Right.
Last thing I have on my list is Lulu versus Brooklyn. When
I,
Lulu raged out in the like Quartermaine boathouse,
right.
annoying. So anyway, backing up, um, she Lulu like runs upon Brooklyn at the office and was like, "You're." It like tells her that Chase came by to see her and made it seem like Brooklyn sent Chase. But if you watch the scenes with Chase, he was very clear that Brooklyn didn't even know that he was coming. To the point where Lulu made some quip about them keeping secrets from each other. So now you just want to start something.
Right.
And after begging to get this job, she quits it. Okay, Lulu.
And um you would be I actually agreed with you this week. Lulu was on one. It was very obvious that again, this isn't necessarily about the baby for Lulu. It's about the fact that one, Dante had the gall to actually like Brooklyn and
Mm-hmm.
lied to her about it. She kept saying,
Mm-hmm.
he lied to me. I was like, girl, so what? And you know what? And I hate to say, I mean, I was almost, I was so annoyed at Lulu that Cody was tolerable because he pointed out to her that it was a long time ago and he was
Wow.
tolerable. That's all I have to say is tolerable. I did not want to smack him. I did not fast forward the scenes. I did not want to hate the man because
Mm-hmm.
Lulu was tripping. And I guess he was the only one that could point it out to her. That actually annoys me.
Mm-hmm.
So many other people, she could be having this conversation with Maxie. Maxie could have talked some smack in her.
Yeah.
But I guess Maxie's tired of it too. So Cody's
Well,
the only person she could talk
Maxie
with.
doesn't know.
Right. Oh yeah, she
Maxie doesn't
doesn't
know
know
about the
that.
baby.
Right. She just knows
Mm-hmm.
about the break. I mean, she was a part of the break-in, but Lulu never told her what she found.
Mm-hmm.
Damn it. Maxie was cute too this week. Yeah, that was another conversation that happened. Sasha actually really trying to get that money. And I'm annoyed by that.
Sasha really put me off this week. I was like, girl, what are you doing?
Right.
Being Holly's daughter. My God.
Exactly. Yeah, she's annoying me. And I do hope, I mean, Felicia told, so context everyone. Sasha back got that offer from Sidwell of 250 grand if she can make the deception forget about his past dealings. And she actually, put the plan into motion by bringing Maxie to tea and talking to Maxie and saying, actually, the kidnapping wasn't that big of a deal. I don't care if you guys were with well. I'm like, girl,
Hmm.
that's crazy. The dude kidnapped you, threatened to kill you. How you gonna
Hmm.
pivot like that for some money for 250,000? Well, you have all these people who have way more than $250,000 who are willing to help support you. Jason was willing to give you this money, and you're gonna
So you
sell
would
your soul.
rather, right,
Yeah,
right.
you would rather get the money from somebody who kidnapped you and threatened to kill you than Jason.
It's so stupid.
It's crazy.
Yeah. It's very Holly like, so she's acting like her mama.
Hmm. But I hope she considers um, letting Michael be on the birth certificate at some point, if not now, while he's in this custody battle. Um, do it at some
When
point.
it's over. Yeah.
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 So
Yep. Well, that's all I got. Do you have anything else from the week?
no, I did think it was enjoyable. Lucas telling Maxie and Elizabeth
Oh
about his
yeah.
trip. He's doing
I
good.
I love Lucas. I think he has
Yes.
chemistry with everyone. He's so good. You would think he's been on the show forever. He's just such a natural. Yeah.
Yes.
Team Lucas over here.
So call that sexy man so he
Well,
can have so I
this
can be back on my screen.
this like shady he is Eva LaRue confirmed that he was her kid. So I am hoping that so there's so many excuse me. Woo, there's so many rumors going around that like Sidwell's a Cassadine, all this stuff. I hope that if Sidwell is a Cassadine, then um he is not Blaze's dad because we do not another kissing cousin storyline. No, thank you.
No, I don't want Sidwell to be a Cassadine. I just want him to be somebody, and that way the son can come back and bless us with his presence on GH. Maybe Sidwell is an Alcazar, maybe something like that. I don't know.
Oh, that'd be
Either
interesting.
way. Yeah. That's who I wanted her to be married to, but
Mm,
instead it's Sidwell. Whatever.
yeah. Are you ready for the previews for the week ahead?
I am.
So I haven't read these, so this is my
Okay.
real time reaction. Monday, Jason and Sunny's plans are thwarted. Molly gets devastating news. Are they killing Rick?
Maybe it's
That'd be
just
crazy.
devastating that he was in an accident. They better not kill Rick. I'm upset, Jay. You know, Valentine is gone for now. I don't like that. So they better keep
Hmm.
Rick on the show.
Kai confides in Trina. Emma opens up to Anna. Drew feels betrayed. Whatever. Um, Tuesday. Beloved Port Charles residents come together in a special episode honoring the 62nd anniversary of General Hospital and the opening of the Dr. Monica Quartermaine Cardiac Care Center. God, that was a mouthful.
Mm,
So we
okay.
know this is not quite um like they are not, this is not Monica has not been killed. Um they on the show
Hmm.
I saw some pictures of this. It was very weird. There was like no Quartermaines in it. Um, like, or I think just Tracy. It was like Donna, Sunny, and Carly. Like, what is going on here? Just okay. Anyway, I think it's supposed to be a Laura-centered episode. I don't
Okay.
know. Wednesday, Carly and Brennan are on the same page. Maxie gives Lucas a push. Laura shares a meal with Sunny. Diane conducts a job interview. Sasha issues a warning.
Mm.
Thursday, Jocelyn is suspicious. Carly questions Lucas. Sasha and Jason share a warm morning or warm moment. Unshare it. No, thank you. Do not want it.
Right.
Natalia argues with Sidwell. Portia lays down the law. Friday, Jason and Carly navigate their differences. Ava gets shocking intel. I bet you that's when she finds out that Trina or that Christina is the one who caused the car crash.
Hmm.
Kai and Trina are interrupted. Curtis and Drew trade accusations. Joss learns her fate. Well, we'll see. There is no Rick, Liz, or Lucky in the previews for next week. So whatever happens when we see them, it will be a surprise.
Hmm.
Um, I'm just thinking about them because I saw them in the Monday previews, and they're not in the whatever. I'm also interested to see um, if folks are in the hospital on Tuesday, like what that means for Rick and Elizabeth, because both of them like will probably be in the hospital as well. So anyway, that's it. Thanks for rocking with us. As you can see, I'm like fading to the end. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe. If you want to buy some coffee, it'll be in the link down below. Tell a friend to tell a friend about Sunday Shift. And we will see you next week.
Bye. Have a good weekend or week or whatever.